Chaz. Chaz, your last name is?
August.
Chaz August.
Chaz, tell them about yourself.
Hi, well, I'm Director of Marketing and Sales for Waverly Software. We make custom software, custom apps. I'm here helping people migrate their IT to mobile platforms. And we were just talking about Guy Kawasaki, and I was just saying, I've seen him present a number of times. I think he's really interesting. I kind of have the sense he's the guy everybody in Silicon Valley wants to be.
Yeah, that's the line of the day.
Yeah, really. So.
He's going to talk about the art of enchantment, right?
Yep. I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks. Cool.
Sorry. Hi, good afternoon.
Hi.
My name is Guy Kawasaki, and I'm going to talk to you today about being enchanting. And as all advertising, sales, and marketing people and PR people, that is a very necessary skill. So that was a brief biography or an introduction of me. So let me give you a little bit more detail. I worked for Apple from 1983 to 1987. I was Apple's second software evangelist. How many of you use Macintoshes in this room? Oh, that's very, very pleasant. It used to be that you asked that question and no one would raise their hands, and that was really the wonder years, as in I wonder when anybody will ever use Macintoshes. I worked for Apple from 83 to 87 in the Macintosh division, which meant that I worked for Steve Jobs, essentially. That was a very interesting experience, using the word interesting loosely. The Macintosh division was arguably the greatest collection of egomaniacs in the history of Silicon Valley. And, that's saying a lot. We probably held that record for 20 years. Google broke that record, but we had for a good couple decades. Because we worked for Steve, unlike any other part of Apple, we had very special rules, unlimited supplies of Odwalla orange juice, $2 a bottle. We had a great travel policy, which was that we could travel first class for any flight over 2 hours.
Wow.
And the key to this travel policy is, when does the 2 hours begin? And in my interpretation of that rule, the 2 hours begins at the moment you leave your apartment.
Whoa.
So I lived in Los Altos and I flew out of SFO. So that was like a 45-minute drive right there. So basically I flew first class from San Francisco to Monterey. Had a great time. The company Apple back then had two divisions really. Apple II, which was making all the money, and the Macintosh division, which wasn't shipping, so it was spending all the money. Back then, if you looked at the Apple P and L, the P was Apple II, the L was Macintosh. And we were such bad people, believe it or not, we would not let Apple II people into our building. And so if you think about that, we were not letting them into a building they were paying for, which quite justifiably upset them. So they came up with this great joke about the Macintosh division, which is, how many Macintosh division employees does it take to screw in a light bulb? The answer is one. The Macintosh division employee holds up the light bulb and expects the universe to revolve around it. And because I'm in such a friendly audience here, I'll tell you the Microsoft version of this joke. But I'm struggling here. I'm looking for a sign that shows who are the sponsors, because
That's right, Cassell. That's right here. Cassell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're okay. You're okay.
So the Microsoft version of this joke is, how many Microsoft employees does it take to screw in a light bulb? The answer is none, because Steve Ballmer has declared darkness the new standard. After working in the Mac division, I started several software companies. I actually returned to Apple in 1995 as Apple's chief evangelist. Then my job was to make sure that the Macintosh cult remained happy and active. And then I left to start Garage Technology Ventures, an early stage VC firm where I am still today. This speech, however, is nothing to do with venture capital, a little bit to do with Apple, and it is about enchantment. My first job out of college was working in a jewelry manufacturer, believe it or not. I literally schlepped diamonds around the world. And I learned a lot about selling and enchantment there, because the jewelry business is fundamentally a business about enchantment. After that, as you heard, I was a software evangelist for Apple. And that was a story of enchanting people to write software for, at the time, a platform that had no install base, lousy tools, no other software, no hard disk, no color. It was a piece of crap, but it was a revolutionary piece of crap. And it took a lot of enchantment to make that work. Subsequently, I became great fans of the work of Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, as well as a psychologist, social psychologist named Robert Cialdini out of Arizona, who wrote a great book about influence and persuasion. So I wanted to write a book about influence and persuasion and wooing, but I wanted to take it to the next step, to go from engagement, if you will, to enchantment, where you actually delight people. Just as Tom Peters, how many of you have not heard of Tom Peters and In Search of Excellence? Because I spoke the other day to an audience, and 75% of the audience never heard of Tom Peters and In Search of Excellence, which is kind of scary. So anyway, Tom Peters took us from an expectation of business of surviving to an expectation for business of excellence. And I want to take us from an expectation of engagement to enchantment. Before I start, one more piece of information about my speeches. I've been in the tech business for about 30 years now, so I've watched many, many high-tech CEOs speak. And I'll tell you, there are two key points about high-tech speakers. First, they pretty much all suck as speakers. Really, they are amazingly bad as speakers. And the second thing is, they go long. They go longer than their allotment. And that is a bad combination. You know, if you suck and you're short, it's okay. And if you're great and you go long, it's okay. But if you suck and you go long, it's like being stupid and arrogant. It's like being slow and hard to use. You know? And so what I did is, because I never wanted to be accused of this, I embraced the top 10 format. So all my speeches are in the top 10 format, and this one will be today too. And the reason why I use the top 10 format is, in case you think I suck, at least you know approximately how much longer I suck. I have 10 parts to this speech. So this is the top 10 format of how to be an enchanting person, how to change people's hearts, minds, and actions.
Hey Chaz, what did you think of the speech?
All right, that was a great speech. I heard him years ago when he was doing his circuit for Art of the Deal.
Yeah.
This was like twice as good. Very, very entertaining, informative, good speech.
Thanks. Hey, tell people your website.
WaverlySoftware.com. All one word, WaverlySoftware.com. Come visit.
You got it. Thanks, man. Yeah.
It was a great speech, and so there's a link right here where you can actually go and get or see the web page for the rest of it right down below for his entire presentation. Yeah, all the way to the end of this line, actually to
Right there. And he's got the last book. He's like, yeah.
I'm Huckleberry.
Yeah.
he's the lucky guy. Now
She's got one too.
All these other people
have to sign a list,
including
I don't think,
right?
No, I wasn't getting one.
Oh, okay.
I'm a friend of hers.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't getting one. That's
The question
funny.
is, are you going to get guys sign on the book list?
That's funny. I got. We'll see. Yeah, definitely.
Probably not,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, really. There's a guy over there.
No, what you do, you go get filmed with him.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
Yeah.
a compensation.